Good afternoon. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice. This indictment was voted by a grand jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida, and I invite everyone to read it in full to understand the scope and the gravity of the crimes charged. The men and women of the United States intelligence community and our armed forces dedicate their lives to protecting our nation and its people. Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Violations of those laws put our country at risk. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less. The prosecutors in my office are among the most talented and experienced in the Department of Justice. They have investigated this case hewing to the highest ethical standards, and they will continue to do so as this case proceeds. It's very important for me to note that the defendants in this case must be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. To that end, my office will seek a speedy trial in this matter, consistent with the public interest and the rights of the accused. We very much look forward to presenting our case to a jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida. In conclusion, I would like to thank the dedicated public servants of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, with whom my office is conducting this investigation and who work tirelessly every day upholding the rule of law in our country. I'm deeply proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Thank you very much.
They say that America is divided politically, and we kind of agree. There's the dumb, and then there's us. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that too harsh for the little snowflakes? This is Right, Left, and Center. This is Right, Left, and Center. No matter what's going on in today's news, politics, social, environment, culture, we're talking about it unabashedly. Real, raw, direct, and funny. Let's rock. This is Right, Left, and Center. And this is your host, Will Jackson.
I'd like to welcome everybody back to Left, Right, Center. I am your host, Will Jackson. Wow, some crazy stuff happening here, and we will talk about it. We're going to focus on Donald J. Trump, the two-time impeached, twice indicted, ex-45th president of these great United States. And we're going to drive focus to the Republican Party, who is turning a blind eye to what's happening. And remember, just remember, You can email me at leftrc22@gmail.com. That's leftrc22@gmail.com. I got mine. I hope you got yours. I'm back on that Kimachaka. 90 proof, that is. Welcome back, folks, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's been a very exciting week with some fantastic news for us who are not Trump fans, and those of us who are law-abiding citizens, and also those of us who are not in a position where we would ever agree or try to justify someone having our secrets locked in a closet or placed next to a bathroom. See, Trump right now is facing 31 counts. This guy is facing 31 counts of willfulness, retention of classified documents. That's 31 counts. One count of conspiracy to obstruct justice. One count of withholding a document or record. One count of corruptly concealing a document or record. One count of concealing a document of federal investigation. Also, one count of scheme to conceal. And one count of making false statements and representation. At least four charges of what I've just mentioned carries a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. 20 years. I mean, when you look at the history, especially over the past few years, of an airman or a soldier or a sailor, Snowden, I mean, these folks who actually had classified documents not of this nature are now serving prison time or searching for Snowden to serve prison time. And yet here we have it again, where we have a Republican Party that is trying to defend the undefendable. Think about this. If you and I get a ticket, or if you or I had a document that came out of a SCIF room, which those of you who don't know what a SCIF room is, it is a secure room where you have to sign in. You have to, you're monitored, and you can't take any devices in there with you. You read the document. You can't take notes or anything like that. You read the document, and then you come out of the SCIF room. You sign out, and then you go about your merry way. Now, if you were to have a document and you take a photo of that document and you take that document out of the SCIF room, then what happens is you are now going to be charged for a level of espionage. Okay? That's just that simple. So now Trump is not the president. He's a former president. And so he is a citizen of these United States, meaning he commits a state crime, a federal crime, or a local crime. He is tried, hopefully convicted, and then sent to jail. Oh, by the way, he is also presumed innocent by the court of law until then. But I'm going to tell you something. These facts under this indictment is just like crazy. Facts are facts. You cannot look at the sky and see it cloudy and tell me that it's sunny outside. It just doesn't work that way. Now, the state of Ohio, and I will honestly say Canton, Ohio, And I don't know if many know about this, but I'll put it in the details. You can click on the link and you can go to it and read it in its entirety. But there was a gentleman back in 1918 named Eugene Debs, Eugene V. Debs. He was an American labor and political leader and 5-time socialist party, and he was a candidate for the presidency years ago. Deb made, during the wartime, Eugene Debs, he actually made an anti-war speech in Canton, Ohio, protesting the U.S. involvement in World War I. After Eugene Debs made that speech, he was arrested under the Espionage Act of 1917 and convicted and sentenced, and he served 10 years in prison. And he was basically defranchised in life. He couldn't hold a public office. He couldn't run for a public office. And basically, back then, when you are charged and convicted of espionage, people turned their heads. They didn't want to be bothered with you. They didn't want to be near you. Why? Because the word espionage has an intangible feel to it. That when you are associated with that, just by sound, you are a criminal. You are going against the principles of this United States government. So Eugene Debs did that speech, was arrested, was tried, was convicted, and served 10 years. And he was basically shunned. I think he's originally from Illinois or Indiana or whatever, but he actually did that speech in Canton, Ohio. Now, you've got people right now who are serving that had small clips of classified information. They leaked it to bring awareness or whatever they were trying to do. I don't know. But they are serving time and they're convicted. You don't hear the Republican Party trying to defend this. See, I read this indictment, and there's a lot of key things that I'm going to focus on, and then also I'm going to give my personal opinion. And some of you may agree, some of you may not agree. So if you haven't read this indictment, I guarantee you, once you read this indictment and you hear these folks like Lindsey Graham, Ron DeSantis, or DeSantis, whatever the hell he want to call his last name now, or you hear Mike Pence, or you hear Marjorie Taylor Greene, or you may hear Jim Jordan, or any other dumbass Republican out there who wants to defend this. I mean, you can't. And these people are actually talking as though they were part of this investigation. They dug deep into this investigation and they know the truth. They don't know the truth. Do you believe for 1 minute Jack Smith, a career prosecutor, is going to lay out everything on the table? No, he is not. But this indictment is crazy. It's remarkable. Defendant Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of the United States of America. He held the office from January 20th, 2017 through January 20 of 21. As president, Donald Trump had lawful access to most sensitive classified documents and national defense information gathered and owned by the United States government. Including information from agencies that comprise the United States intelligence community and the United States Department of Defense. Over the course of his presidency, Trump gathered newspapers, press clippings, letters, notes, cards, photographs, official documents, and other materials in cardboard boxes that he kept in the White House. Among materials Trump stored in his boxes were hundreds of classified documents. That's a big no-no. The classified documents Trump stored in the box include information regarding defense weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies' military attacks, and plans of possible retaliation in response to foreign attacks, the unauthorized disclosure of classified documents that could be held at risk in national security of the United States, foreign relations, and safety of the United States military and human sources, and continued viable of sensitive information or sensitive intelligence collection methods. At 12 p.m. on January 20th, 2021, Trump ceased to be president. As he departed the White House, Trump caused scores of boxes, many of which contained classified documents, to be transferred to or transported to the Mar-a-Lago Club in Palm Beach, Florida, where he maintained his residence. Trump was not authorized to possess or retain those classified documents. Point 5 of this indictment. The Mar-a-Lago Country Club, or Mar-a-Lago Club, was an active social club. Between January 2021 and August 2022, he has hosted events for tens of thousands of members and guests. After Trump's presidency, the Mar-a-Lago Club was not an authorized location for the storage, possession, review, display, or discussion of classified documents. Nevertheless, Trump stored his boxes containing classified documents in various locations at Mar-a-Lago, including the ballroom and a bathroom and shower, an office space, his bedroom, and storage room. On 2 occasions in 2021, Trump showed classified documents to others as follow in the July 21 club in Bedminster, New Jersey. I mean, this is amazing. If we were to do that as military personnel or other low-level government officials, there wouldn't be a hesitation. It would be investigation, a charge, a trial. If convicted, 10 to 20 years on each count. But, hey, we're not Trump. More after this.
Have you been looking for a podcast that takes you beyond the headlines? A show that challenges you. A show that's real, raw, and unapologetic. Then you've found your new home. Right, Left, and Center. Right, Left, and Center. News, the environment, immigration, politics, the criminal justice system, and everything in between. Join Will Jackson every week, your personal guide to understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Listen everywhere podcasts are available. You're listening to Left, Right, and Center, your audio guide to help you understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Now, back to your host, Will Jackson.
I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. Service members here in North Carolina have risked their lives to acquire classified intelligence to protect our country.
We are joined now by Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, who's endorsed Donald Trump for president in 2024. Senator Graham, thank you for joining us this morning. Donald Trump has said repeatedly that he did nothing wrong. Do you believe that?
Well, here's what I believe. We live in an America where if you're the Democratic candidate for president, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, you can set up a private server in your basement to conduct government business. And when an investigation is had about your activity, no, let me finish.
But you didn't answer the question.
That was ridiculous. Well, yeah, I'm trying to answer the question from a Republican point of view. That may not be acceptable on this show. Yes, I don't like what President Trump did in certain aspects. I don't like that Joe Biden had classified information on the garage. I don't like that Mike Pence carelessly took classified information. I don't like any of that. But what I don't like is a system in America where the Secretary of State, who's a Democratic candidate for president, has people take a hammer to social media devices and break them apart, apply bleach bit to a hard drive to erase emails, allow classified information to get on a felon's computer, Anthony Weiner. You haven't even mentioned that. Most Republicans believe we live in a country where Hillary Clinton did very similar things and nothing happened to her. President Trump will have his day in court, but espionage charges are absolutely ridiculous. Whether you like Trump or not, he did not commit espionage. He did not disseminate, leak, or provide information to a foreign power or to a news organization to damage this country. He is not a spy. He's overcharged. Did he do things wrong? Yes, he may have. He will be tried about that, but Hillary Clinton wasn't. Your old boss committed perjury in a civil lawsuit, lost his law license, obstructed justice in a dozen ways, and he didn't get prosecuted. I know,
and he was impeached.
Well,
Senator,
yeah, well,
okay,
he was impeached, but he wasn't prosecuted.
You've made your point, but you also said something that I believe is not true based on what's in the indictment. You said that he did not disseminate any of this information. In fact, there's an audio tape in the indictment where he's talking about the secret information, saying he knows it's secret, knows it's not declassified.
Okay, let's talk about that. I don't know what happened. I haven't heard the audio, but look at who's been charged under Espionage Act. Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning. People who turn over classified information to news organizations to hurt the country or provide it to a foreign power. That did not happen here. Donald Trump, you may hate his guts, but he is not a spy. He did not commit espionage. What he did is very similar, in my view, to what Hillary Clinton did. People in the Clinton case took a hammer to a BlackBerry and destroyed it. They wiped clean with bleach bit emails. They said they were all personal, but some of them actually were classified, and it wound up on Anthony Weiner's computer, and not a damn thing happened to her.
Senator, first of all, she was fully investigated. They found the investigation found no intentional holding back. Well, fine. Donald Trump was president for 4 years. He had his Justice Department in place for 4 years.
Give me a break.
But setting that aside, there is an audio tape of Donald Trump saying he knows this is secret information. He knows he's sharing it with other people. How is that okay?
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay to take a hammer to a BlackBerry. I think none of this is okay. When Chris Coons, who my good friend will be on in a minute, when we view classified information, we have to sign in, go into a room, and turn it back over. You got vice presidents, secretary of states, and presidents handling this stuff. You had Bill Clinton with tapes in his sock drawer. I would like to review the system, but here's the point I'm trying to make. What's happening in Manhattan to Donald Trump has never happened to anybody in the history of New York. I think the espionage charges are completely wrong, and I think they paint an impression that doesn't exist. This is not espionage. And I do believe, George, that most people on my side of the aisle believe when it comes to Donald Trump, there are no rules, and you can do the exact same thing or something very similar as a Democrat, and nothing happens to you. Here's the bottom line.
Hold on a second, Senator.
The leading candidate for president of the United States on the Republican side is being prosecuted by his opponent.
Well, we know that's a damn lie. So let me, before I play any more of this crap from Lindsey Graham and give my comments, let me read you a part of this indictment. And it starts on page 10 of the indictment. And it's entitled Trump's Retention of Classified Documents After His Presidency. Point 24 of this indictment. In January 2021, he was preparing to leave the White House. Trump and his White House staff, including Nuta, packed items including some of Trump's boxes. Trump was personally involved in this process. Trump caused his boxes containing hundreds of classified documents to be transported from the White House to Mar-a-Lago. From January through March 15th of 2021, some of Trump's boxes were stored at Mar-a-Lago was stored in the Gold Ballroom, in which events and gatherings took place. Trump's boxes were for a time stacked in at the ballroom stage, as depicted in this photo. There's a photo there showing this ballroom where there's like lined up in front of a curtain, not behind, in front of a curtain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then I can't even count the ones in the back, but just over 22 boxes that's sitting out front in the open where there were events happening. In March 2021, Nuta and others moved some of Trump's boxes from the White House, from the White and Gold Ballroom to the business center at Mar-a-Lago Club. And then it shows on the indictment on page 20, it actually shows a chandelier hanging down, a toilet, a sink with fresh towels, a shower, where there is more stuff in there. And then you hear Lindsey Graham running his nut rest. South Carolina, if you don't vote him out and you vote for him, I'm going to say that's un-American. And those who do vote for him, you're communists and you're a piece of shit. You need to get Lindsey Graham out of South Carolina. He's making you look bad. He's making you look like freaking fools. He sounds like a bitch. He act like a bitch. And he don't know which side of the fence he wants to be on. This guy is a detriment to your state. He is unbelievably one of the most dumbest, ignorant ass people in South Carolina. I don't know who's dumber, him or Jim Jordan. I really don't. They're kind of neck and neck, but I'll never say that anyone is dumb. Anyone is as dumb as Jim Jordan from the state of Ohio. See, the reality is when you listen to this excuse my language, but you listen to this fuckwad and you look at the indictment, you'll realize that, one, Hillary Clinton has nothing to do with this. Bill Clinton has nothing to do with this. Alan Bragg has nothing to do with this. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris has nothing to do with this. This is not a weaponization. This is not. And for Republicans like Lindsey Graham to say that there is a weaponization, first of all, there's a separation of powers. And so Merrick Garland turned around and said, hey, because I am a appointed official by the President of the United States, I need to get a special counsel. Someone who is independent. Someone who reports to no one but himself, him or herself, and has their own office and own staff. This is what a special counsel is. It has, and you know what? And for all you freaking Trump defenders out there, let me educate you on something. Jack Smith was on the world court. Jack Smith has an impeccable record in integrity level. Jack Smith is if you want to look up justice and fairness in law, Jack Smith is that individual. You can dig all you want to, but you're not going to find anything negative on Jack Smith. I've read, researched Jack Smith. The man is fair, strong, and he doesn't try stuff in the media. He refuses to do that. He's clean cut on the information, and it is what it is. Just as his investigations. And they're very thorough. So to hear people like Lindsey Graham run off at the nut rest about, weaponization of the government. No, you motherfuckers are starting to feel, what do you call it? Helpless. Because all these investigations are now coming to light. You got Alvin Bragg in New York shutting it down. So Trump decided to go ahead and go after, make comments about Alvin Bragg, because that's what he do. Trump is a self-proclaimed bully. He's not a boss. He's not a mafia boss. And my good friends in New York, if you're part of a mob family, for anyone to associate you guys with this dumbass, y'all should be pissed. Y'all should be pissed. See, this is how wrong Trump is. This is how wrong the two-time indicted, soon to be third-time indicted, two-time impeached, failing president of these United States, not to mention the sex crime that he had to pay $5 million, and that's not done. He's not a boss. I mean, for him to make comments about Jack Smith's wife, I'm not playing those comments. But for him to make comments about Jack Smith's wife, that's no different than what he did to Alvin Bragg. Okay, so can I get away with saying, all right, so all my Democratic friends, whether you and all my Democratic thugs out there, I need you guys to muster up and head to Mar-a-Lago, and I want you to try to kill this guy. That's essentially what Trump is trying to do. And that's not right. That's not fair. That's un-American. And not only that, what's really un-American is when you got fuckers like Lindsey Graham getting on TV, who has the ability to get a copy of that indictment and read it and be educated on the indictment before you get on fucking TV and start running off at their mouth and not understanding what's in the indictment. This is what's really crazy. When you want to talk about dumb as a box of rocks, that's dumb as a box of rocks. This is the type of political leader you have in South Carolina. South Carolina, I'm here to tell you, you need to fix this shit. You need to get this guy out of office. Because when you look at the facts that has been laid out by Jack Smith, a reputable prosecutor, you're going to sit back and say, what the hell? I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Progressive. You're going to say, what the hell? I'm sitting here looking at these pictures. These are in Mar-a-Lago. These are classified documents that he has held. And you want to say he's not part of espionage? You want to say that he's not disseminating or attempting to disseminate classified information? On page 15 of the indictment, there is a conversation. Let's play some more of Lindsey Graham's dumbass voice.
Had Donald Trump turned over the documents, as Mike Pence did, and you heard our legal panel address that as well, we wouldn't be sitting here today. There would be no case. There would be no case at all.
Well, I don't know if that's true. He believes he has the power to do that. He will argue the Presidential Records Act. I don't know if he's right or not. There'll be a trial about this, but I cannot stress to you enough that we live in a world today where most Republicans believe that Hunter Biden's laptop was real and people knew it was real, but they told the public something else to help Joe Biden.
Okay, so Hunter Biden. I mean, I hope you got yours because I'm drinking on this shit. Hunter Biden. What does Hunter Biden have to do with Trump taking classified information, SCI type information, down to Mar-a-Lago? What has Hunter Biden got anything to do with this? What has Hillary Clinton got anything? What is Bill Clinton? See, they didn't mention a couple presidents here. They didn't mention Barack Obama. Why? Because you can't. There's nothing there. Or George W. Bush or George W. Bush Sr. Or Ronald Reagan. Or Jimmy Carter. Do I need to keep falling back? No, I don't. See, the thing about it is this Republican Party today is an embarrassment. They're more focused on supporting Trump than fighting for our infrastructure, how we provide benefits to our veterans or our elderly, about Social Security, gas prices, homelessness, child care credits. I mean, taxes. I mean, this is what they're running on. They're running on Trump, and they're focused on the DOJ. Why are they focused on the DOJ? Why? Because a lot of them are out there doing a bunch of stuff that they should not be doing. They're doing bad shit. And the thing about it is a lot of you Americans out there who are listening to me are voting for these motherfuckers who do not need to be voted for. That's fact. And that's me keeping it real. And that's me keeping it raw. More after this.
You're listening to Left, Right, and Center, your audio guide to help you understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Now, back to your host, Will Jackson.
Bum, 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 bum. So let's dive in a little bit deeper here, okay? So I'm gonna go to page 14 of the indictment. And those of you who have that indictment in front of you, you can follow me, and then Once again, if you have any questions or comments, you can email me at leftrc22@gmail.com. leftrc22@gmail.com. So here is the meat and potatoes of this indictment as far as I'm concerned. Trump's disclosure of classified information in private meetings. In May 2021, Trump calls of his boxes to be brought to his summer residence at the Bedminster Club, or Bedminster Club. Like the Mar-a-Lago Club, after Trump's presidency, the Bedminster Club was not an authorized location to store, possess, or receive, display, or discuss classified documents. And once again, I mean, if you want to catch Trump, just follow Trump. You can catch Trump in all kinds of crap. On July 21st, 2021, he was no longer the president. Trump gave an interview in his office at the Bedminster Club to a writer and publisher in connection with and then forthcoming book. Two members of Trump's staff also attended the interview, which was recorded. Trump acknowledged and consented. Before the interview, the media had published a report that at the end of Trump's term of presidency, a senior military official reportedly feared that Trump might have ordered an attack on the country A, and that the senior military official advised Trump against doing that. So basically, whatever country that was, and I'm almost sure it had to do something with Ukraine properly. That's my assumption. Upon greeting the writer, the publisher, and his two staff members, Trump stated, "Look what I found. This is what the senior military officials' plan of attack. Read it and just show how interesting. How interesting. It's interesting." After the interview, Trump engaged the following exchange. Trump: "Well, with the military official, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack country A. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. These things just came up. Look. This was him. They presented this to me. This is off the record. They presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him." Writer: "Wow. Trump, we looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. Papers long. Look. Staffer. Trump, wait a minute. Let's see here. Staffer. Laughter. Yeah. Trump, I just found it. Isn't this interesting? This totally wins any of my cases, you know." Staffer: Trump, accept it like it is. Highly confidential. Staffer: yeah. Laughter. Trump: secret. This is secret information. Look at this. You attacked and... Trump: by the way, isn't this incredible? Staffer: yeah. Trump: I was just thinking, because we're talking about it, and he said he wanted to attack country A. And what? Staffer: you did. Trump, this was done by the military and given to me. I think we can probably, right? Stafford, I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to Trump declassify it. Stafford, figure out. Yeah, Trump. See, as president, I could have declassified it. Stafford, yeah, laughter. Trump. Now I can't, but it's still secret. A secret. Stafford, yeah, laughter. Now we have a problem. Trump, isn't that interesting? Wow. So he cannot say that he did not have classified information. He did not say he did not show classified information. He can't. And yet, this is what we hear.
Former President of the United States facing an unprecedented indictment by a Justice Department run by the current President of the United States and a potential political rival. The former President, like every other American, is entitled to a presumption of innocence. Secondly, the American people have a right to know the basis of this decision. That's why yesterday morning, I think I was the first in the country to call on the Attorney General to unseal the indictment and release it to the American people. But today, I'm calling on the Attorney General to stand before the American people and explain why this was necessary in his words. Attorney General Merrick Garland, stop hiding behind the special counsel and stand before the American people and explain why this indictment went forward. The American people deserve to know the reasons for this unprecedented action, and we also need to hear the former president's defense. Then each of us can make our own judgment on whether this is the latest example of a Justice Department working in injustice or otherwise. So as I said, it was a sad day for America. But as Republicans, we stand on the rule of law. I would encourage everyone here and those in the sound of my voice to be patient. Know that we will soon know the facts. Thank you.
All right, fuckface. First of all, there's and I don't understand this. This is where I'm getting a little confused about this damn Republican Party today. See, the Republican Party that I've known when I served down in D.C. and grew up listening to and also watching because my grandparents were Republicans. I'm a little lost here because the Republican Party used to be the rule of law. Okay, so once again, you have another Republican defending Trump who don't know what the fuck he talking about. And oh, by the way, even if he called Merrick Garland, the bottom line is this: Merrick Garland could not and would not say the indictment need to be released on this day because of a call from Mike Pence. So, bitch, you don't have any juice. It was Jack Smith who decided to, ironically, the day you may have called Merrick Garland, you may have called him, and it was ironic that that was released on the day after. Okay, so Merrick Garland didn't push this. And one reason why Merrick Garland is doing the right thing, hiding behind Jack Smith, is because he's an appointed official by the president. And see, what you Republicans want to see is a level of weaponization. You want to be able to tie everything back to Biden. But President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, they're doing the right thing. They're keeping their mouths shut. They're not commenting on this. And the White House staff is not commenting on this. Anyone who's appointed by President Biden is not commenting on this. And oh, by the way, Pence, you dumb fuck, the indictment speaks for itself. So by your comments at that speech that you did, tells me that you are either you didn't read the indictment, or either you're ignorant to the fact of the indictment and you don't have the facts of the indictment. That's what it tells me. And oh, by the way, you're trying to, never mind, I'll get to that in my final thoughts. But bottom line is this. Let me get at Mike Pence for a second. You dumb fucker. See, at the time of the exchange, the writer, the publisher, and Trump's two staffers did not have security clearance and needed to know as a need to know any classified information about a plan of attack on country A. Meaning that, Mike Pence, you already know that everything is a need to know when you are a public citizen and don't have that classified, that clarification to have that information disseminated to you. So Trump was wrong. Your old boss was wrong. You know, the one who was trying to get your monkey ass killed, you dumb fuck. You racist dumb fuck. See, in August or September of 2021, when he was no longer president, and Trump met in his office at Bedminster Club with a representative of a political action committee, a PAC. Now this is all part of the indictment. During the meeting, Trump commented on ongoing operations in Country B was not going well. Trump showed the PAC representative a classified map of Country B and told PAC representatives that he should not be showing the map to the PAC representative and not to get too close. The PAC representative did not have a security clearance and any need to know classified information about the military operations. On February 17, 4 years after Trump's disclosure of classified information set forth, Trump said at a press conference, the first thing I thought of when I heard about this, how does a press get information that's classified? How do they do it? Why would they know? Because it's an illegal process, and the press should be ashamed of themselves. But most importantly, the people that gave out the information to the press should be ashamed of themselves. Really ashamed. Those are Trump's words. Those are Trump's words that he gave in a press conference. So, Mike Pence, you too are a dumb fuck. A big dumb fuck. More after this.
Have you been looking for a podcast that takes you beyond the headlines? A show that challenges you. A show that's real, raw, and unapologetic. Then you've found your new home. Right, left, and center. Right, left, and center. News, the environment, immigration, politics, the criminal justice system, and everything in between. Join Will Jackson every week, your personal guide to understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Listen everywhere podcasts are available. You're listening to Left, Right, and Center, your audio guide to help you understand the week's news, the world, and how America shapes it. Now, back to your host, Will Jackson.
Can I ask you your reaction to the indictment?
You know, the indictment makes me very sad and concerned as a country, because it's not just Republicans who view this as political. You have former Governor Cuomo, you have New York Times. People see it because think about this. The indictment came not from an attorney general of a state, not even from a DA of New York City. It's a borough who actually campaigned on the idea of indicting. My fear is what's going to transpire here is that here we are as America, one of our greatest strengths is the rule of law being applied equally. What's going to deter some small DA in a small county in a red state to go after a Democrat president when they come out? I don't want our country to continue to spiral to play politics this way. I think that we should respect the law. I don't think any legal mind sits and thinks this has merit of where it's going. I think it's played where here's somebody's running for president and a former president. I think when I look across the street from the Capitol, I see Lady Liberty sitting there blindfolded with a scale that's supposed to be equal. I think everyone would sit back and tell you, regardless of party, regardless of how they feel about President Trump. I mean, you have Mitt Romney, you have Jeb Bush saying for what it is, and I think it's spiraling the country in a place we don't want to be. Let's start respecting each other, let's respect the rule of law, and let's not play politics with it.
You're the leader of the party. Mm-hmm. Do you worry he is the Republican frontrunner? He likely will be the nominee right now. Do you worry that he could lose the general election because of this indictment and the other investigations that are potentially more serious?
I think if someone wants to play with indictments, I think it helps them to campaign better. I look at his numbers who get stronger. So I'm not sure if the Democrats think this is helping in a manner, but what I do know, it hurts the entire nation. It doesn't matter what party you're in. When someone uses the rule of law for political purposes, America looks weaker. And the other thing that's scary about this, what does it say to the rest of the world? I mean, you would only read about these type of actions, never happened in America before, in other countries. We're better than that. America's too great to have such a small political mind like this DA does. And I think people on both sides of that. And I would hope if this was on the other side of the aisle that I would stand up just as strong now if someone would use this for political purposes against a Democrat.
And we use this against the Democrat. Wow. See, there's my third Republican that is an idiot and can't control his minions, who are probably going to oust his ass as soon as he pisses him off. Again, defending the undefendable. It has, see, when the Republicans cannot fight the law, they blame the Democratic Party or progressives or independents. And they call it weaponization. Well, here's where Jack Smith got all his information from, you dumb fuckers. He got it from the Republicans who served in his administration. They were not threatened. They were subpoenaed. They told the damn truth. And guess what? They realized, and the grand jury in Florida, a red state, simply said, you know what? We agree. He needs to be indicted and charged. And the grand jury came back with a bill. It has nothing to do with the political party. It has all to do with facts. Jack Smith did the greatest thing that any federal prosecutor could have done. He found a grand jury in Florida where Trump stored and had classified information that indicted him. Information presented by Jack Smith to this grand jury. Listen to all the facts and listen to the Republican witnesses who served in Trump's administration and concluded that he needs to be charged. It's called a bill. That bill was agreed upon, and guess what? He's charged and indicted. It had nothing. First of all, only thing that the DOJ can do is watch. Jack Smith is an independent counsel and the special counsel who does not conversate with anyone else about this case except for the grand jurors. That's what Jack Smith does. So I'm still lost as all these Republicans keep trying to say that Joe Biden has something to do with this. It's amazing how when you mention Trump and this indictment and you read the indictment in its entirety, they're still running off at the mouth about weaponization. They're still pointing the finger at Hillary Clinton. Get off of that. They're still pointing the finger at Hunter Biden. Get off of that. There's nothing there. It's called a deflection. That's what it is. See, the bottom line is this, folks, is that you need to start paying attention to what's being said. I said that in my last episode. I'm not that guy. And you know what? You really need to understand what is being said is not being said. Now, if it was Joe Biden that was being charged, or if it was any other president, Democratic president being charged, like Barack Obama, then I guarantee you they'd say lock him up. Oh, he's guilty. Now, the same people that are sitting there doing crimes and doing things they're not supposed to do are the same individuals that are saying lock them up and get them out. You have to pay attention, voters. 2024, for those senators and congressional figures that are Republicans in your state that are up for re-election, you need to go ahead and vote them out. Those individuals who are going to get charged, like I guarantee you, and I keep saying this, Lindsey Graham, I'm telling you, Fonnie Willis is going to get you and Trump and a bunch of other individuals. I guarantee it. And see, all them individuals that are in jail who followed Trump. See, Trump is a plague. See, if you follow Trump and you listen to Trump and you act on Trump's words, you're going to jail. If you are an attorney and you're dealing with Trump, you're going to lose your law license and possibly go to jail. In fact, 2 attorneys after the indictment left Trump's team. I don't blame them. There are attorneys out there that are better than the attorneys that he can afford to have, that refuse to take his money because they already know they would be in big trouble. Why? Because this man doesn't know how to keep his damn mouth shut. The 2-time disgrace, impeached, twice indicted, and soon to be 3rd indicted, former president, Orange Man, will get indicted, seems to keep running his mouth and threatening public officials by trying to play words. Use the wordplay game in threatening folks. He's not a mob boss. He's a criminal. In my mind. But he's presumed to be innocent, but he's still a criminal according to this indictment. And for those of you who still want to follow him and support him, not only you criminals, but you dumbass bitches too. Until next week, knuckleheads.
You've been listening to Right, Left, and Center. Our passion is to talk about today's news, politics, the environment, culture, and anything else that helped shape the news in America. Our 2022 season was so strong, we had to come back and smack 2023 right in the mouth. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And continue to listen on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or anywhere you download your podcasts. See you next time on Right, Left, and Center.